Hey.
Hey Rob,
Going on, buddy?
it's going, man. How are you?
Doing good. Chilling in upstate New York, Fulton, New York right now. So it's all
Nice. I'm
good.
in Kelowna, BC. Looks like we both got beautiful weather.
Sure.
Wicked. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. I'm here with Rob, obviously the number one man, and Astro Mitts himself.
Thanks, buddy. OG. They call me the OG. OG
The
Astromits.
OG. Where does that name come from, OG Astro Mitts?
I was just playing around with them. We started doing this NFT project, and actually Blake Armstrong, one of our partners in this project, was like, brought the term up, and I liked it. It's a little bit different. The term silky mitts has been tossed around quite a bit, so trying to be creative and create something a little bit different. And yeah, I like it too. OG Astro Mitts, a little bit futuristic, kind of Space Force hockey. So it's a lot we can play around with. And I think the kids will really enjoy that. We start playing around with the names on our project with the NFT space. I like having that little bit of kind of catchphrases or nicknames, so to speak, that we can attach to this project. I think it'll be really cool.
Totally. Well, it was one of the first things I noticed when I got into the private Discord channel there and started popping up, and it really stuck in my head right away. So I think it's working.
Yeah, we got you. It's like, what's that movie with Will Smith when they put the number 55 all over the walls and they got that guy to pick the number? You remember that movie? You know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called though.
So they tricked him. The guy that they were making a bet at the football game, and all day long they put the number 55 in front of him, and then he had a bet with him at the football game. He said, pick one player, and I bet you I can guess who it is. So it's sort of like a mind trick, and so it looks like we got you swooned with this OG Astromits play.
There we go. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about Space Force and what you've been doing with Space Force and the Discord channel and everything like that, so the viewers can figure out a little bit more about it.
Yeah, Space Force Hockey. So it's a community-based development program, and essentially what I'm doing is every day uploading a piece of content that's a teaching instruction video, and whether it be shooting technique, passing technique, hockey IQ, loading things in there a day at a time, so people can kind of start to slowly build their hockey IQ of the game and also their technique in the game. So like I said, shooting and passing. I'm excited about the project because it has that community base behind it, where we can all come into a spot and learn different parts of the game, different things in the game. For me personally, being able to coach, being able to upload that content into a community, it makes it so I can spread that knowledge and information to a lot of people at once. Where it used to be, if I would want to teach players, I'd have to run a camp, and if you were fortunate enough to come to that camp, then you'd be able to get this information. Now with the way technology is, this is a really unique way to be able to spread that knowledge to a further audience, and a lot more people can benefit from what I've learned in the game. And the next piece of it is being able to bring other people into this community, as far as players, ex-players, current players, to insert their information. That's what makes me really excited as well. Having a group of people sharing their knowledge and experience for the audience, which would be the cosmonauts in our audience and the cosmonauts that are inside that Discord. I think it's special, and I'm really excited about the project.
Definitely. And have you seen other hockey coaching programs do anything like this, or is this pretty new in the space?
It's pretty new, and that's something I've been keen on. Ever since I was a kid, 12 years old, I started with the playing lacrosse with the hockey puck, and that was sort of the beginning of a trend back then. And that's kind of where the OG comes in, and we see it now with the guys like Trevor Zegras, the Svechnikov. These guys are starting to do it. It's become more of accepted and celebrated. Back when I was doing it, it was not celebrated and accepted. So it's fun to bring that into the game and also teach the people of how that stuff works, the why it works, and how to insert it in their game. Going back to your question, though, I don't see it being done this way. There's other ways of teaching players. I see a lot of subscription model stuff where coaches are doing a subscription-based thing, and people can buy a monthly subscription. But this is more, again, that community-based. There's a one cost, call it a door ticket fee, which is the NFT. You purchase the NFT and you have that door ticket that gets you into this content. And further on down the road, say you come in the community for a year or 2 years, whatever it might be, at the end of it, you have the ability to sell that ticket, that seat. So I think that makes it unique as well. And it's different. It's definitely, I think it's ahead of its time, which has been par for the course for me. so I'm going to stick to that. And I think this has a lot of room to grow, and I think it's going to be something to be a little bit of a trendsetter in the way people are doing things.
Yeah, definitely. What caused you to be attracted to NFTs originally?
Originally, I got asked to do an NFT, and I didn't think, to be honest with you, I didn't really have that star power, so to speak. You know, I could see an NFT, a moment in time, like in Wayne Gretzky breaking the goals record and points record, like that moment has value. I know in my heart that I don't have one of those moments. So I said no in the beginning. And then I started listening to a podcast from Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. And they started talking about how they were developing their new movie in an NFT space. Like every 15 minutes would be a new NFT. I had to purchase that and it would access the next. And that kind of sparked my mind into doing a project. I was like, okay, I think that makes, okay, NFTs aren't just a moment, minting a moment. It's more about what's the value and where's the utility of it. And I thought, okay, this would be pretty cool to do a project where it's, you know, like this content, upload content, and that's the utility. We keep putting up information in there. Players get to keep continuously developing. And I thought that was unique. And that sparked me to say yes to the project. And I got a hold of Flux 88, Blake Armstrong, and I said, let's do it this way. I think this would be pretty cool. So now as our process is going to be of educating people what NFTs are. We try not to make it such a focus on NFTs. It is an NFT project, but what we hear about in NFTs right now is like the virtual world, and you buy an NFT for 10 cents and tomorrow it's worth $300,000. Like that's not what we're doing here. You're not going to flip your coin around tomorrow and make, you know, again, $299,999 per coin. What you're gonna get your value out of, again, is being in there on a continuous basis. The community, our job as you know, the owners of this project is to continuously make value in that community, educate the players, give them growth, teach them things about hockey, whether it be things I already mentioned, or whether it be college recruitment, college admissions, off-ice nutrition, mental preparation inside the game. So there's so much depth to this where we can take the project and make that community super beneficial. And you know, starting off on a tangent there, but I'm super passionate about the project. I think it has so much room for growth, and we've just scratched the surface so far.
Totally. Yeah. What I love about this project is it is long-term focused, and you also don't need to be like an expert in NFTs in order to get involved. You can just buy the subscription and, you know, get access to all the content right away. And then we'll walk you through how to get the wallet, download the NFT and have it in your wallet, and then the utility and, you know, future value that it could possibly have.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to be a little education, but the education piece comes to that part of it, and that's something I'm excited about. Why I'm so excited about the partnership as well is that we have everything to facilitate this project. Whether it be questions on, like you said, how do I get this NFT? What does that mean? You know, and we have the right people to guide people through the process. It's a very simple process, and it's not complicated once you dig into it a little bit. It might take you about 20 minutes to get a wallet, and our team is there the whole way, every step of the way, to help you if you have any pain points. I know you were in the Discord the other day helping someone out find where their NFT was dropped, and it was, you know, fixed it within 5 minutes. So that's the thing I think is going to be, I wouldn't say a barrier, but it's our job to educate the people what the NFT part means of it. And for me, it's just to simplify it. And they say if you don't understand something completely, then you can't explain it simply. To simply put this, it's a door ticket in, and eventually you can resell that door ticket. You're not attached to Ethereum prices. You're not going to be looking to shift this thing around on a daily basis. We're not day traders. You're buying a door ticket to come in and learn a lot about hockey. And when you feel like you've reached your level of absorption of knowledge and you're ready to move on, eventually you can then find someone else to buy that seat. And that's the nuts and bolts of it, very simply put.
Totally. And we actually have a question from somebody in the audience right now. I hope I pronounced your name right. Ned Lukovic Hockey. He says, Rob, what's your advice for someone who's interested in this type of space, NFTs, but has zero experience? What's the advice for someone who doesn't have much knowledge but wants to be more dialed in?
Depends on what kind of, you know, which angle you're trying to, if you're trying to create a project, I would say you make sure you keep this as simple as possible. And you know, there's not too many processes in your plan, in your project. For me, it's that, you know, I'm not an expert in NFTs. I've gotten the background on it, backdrop. I understand how it works now, but I'm not an expert. Simplifying it as best you can would be my advice. Again, we're not diving in the NFT space. Again, trading and, you know, Ape Yacht Club and this and that. It's not what we're doing in this project is I wouldn't call it basics. I don't want to downplay it, but we're making it very specific and giving people what I see as pain points in this game. We're giving them that help support knowledge and development in these areas where it can be direct and it can come from a good source. So that's what our project is. And if I can give you advice, that's what we're doing. I can just be open and say what we're up to. So I don't know what the other NFT projects are doing, how they make it valuable. But for us, that's it. Teach these players. And I think as a coach and someone that's played in the game a long time, I know the stuff that goes up into the community, into our Discord. If the players go out on the ice and they execute what we're putting up there, they'll get better. So that's, I'm confident in the information going in there.
Well, and it's funny how the whole world of Web 2 into Web 3 is changing, and the world just in general. Like, I'm sure the sport of hockey is constantly changing since your time playing also. How do you apply some of that knowledge into the coaching program and your time spent playing?
Yeah, it's definitely come a long way. Now, today's game, there's a lot of individual coaches, one-on-one private coaches. I'd say, I had mine when I was a kid. Donnie Kerner Jr. taught me how to shoot as a 10-year-old kid. It really was impactful, changed a lot for me learning from him. But today's era, it seems like every player has a private coach, which is pretty new. And then also we obviously have Instagram and all these other social media platforms where a lot of coaches are putting out their drills, their information. So there's a lot of options and a lot of resource. Let's say it that way. A lot of options out there for players. There's a lot of information coming, and it depends on. It's really hard to pick what's valuable, what works, and what makes sense in today's era as a player. Also as a parent, who you trust and who you put your kid on the ice with, or what information is going to that player. It's tough to kind of siphon through it and understand what's what. So it's changed a lot, and that's what I say on this platform. What we're putting out there is coming from a pretty high level. We want to keep it that way. The information, again, like I just said a minute ago, but if you go out and try this drill, execute it, start perfecting it, and then insert it into your game, you'll see the benefits. So that's something we're confident about with this project. But yeah, there's so much out there. It's coming from all angles. You go on the search part of Instagram and you'll see, I get it every day, there's 1,000 different drills, different obstacle courses and whatnot. So I can only imagine what the players are going through and trying to figure out what would be beneficial and what works.
Yeah, well, I would recommend listening to someone who's been through it and has the experience like yourself. So I think that's a great starting point.
Yeah, so it's good. So we're in the game a little bit, but we're just going to come from a little bit different angle. And, we're not learning hockey from a book or watching people do it. We know hockey from playing it and experiencing it and being in it for, decades of time. So it's a little bit different source of information.
Totally. Well, we also have a couple of questions from some of the members in our private Discord as well that they wanted to ask you, Rob. Starting with Texas Pete, who's been active in the Discord. I think he's kind of referring to through a trade or with the free agent market being open today. He's saying, would you rather follow a coach, a teammate, and in brackets he says, or several, or a team when making decisions about where to go for the coming season?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think a coach that you've played for and trust and know their what they want, what to expect from them. That would be a big thing. Depends on a teammate. I would say if I'm who's not an unrestricted free agent, but a Patrick Kane, I'd be following a teammate in Arturi Panarin to New York. That chemistry they had in Chicago was something that you don't find every day. It's not easy to find. So they had that,
right?
You know what I mean? Like that sort of chemistry. I would follow. It's tough, right? I'm kind of bouncing back and forth on my answer, but if you find Arturi Panarin, I'd go with him. but if you're following a friend, just a buddy, because you get along off the ice, I would say I'd stick with the coach. I would follow a coach because they're going to, once you get that trust with a coach and you find that comfort level, it makes it a lot easier to play and a lot easier to have success, and you know exactly what you're going to get. So in the NHL level translates to dollars and success. So you're financially successful and also winning wise, you're going to have a great opportunity.
Were there certain franchises that players talked about where they were like, these guys are winners, kind of like the New England Patriots and NFL, where it was like, hey, if I go over here, I'm likely going to get some silverware, and this franchise is built around winning? Like, were certain teams like that?
Chicago, over the last, decade and a half, roughly, the last 15 years have been that team. They've had great success, great everything around it. And I've been fortunate enough to have a buddy that played there, won a cup, scored a game-winning goal in the Stanley Cup. So I got a good chance to see it firsthand of what their organization was like. And it's not just what's on the ice, the product, it's also what's in the front office. You know, it was very good for a long time. The training staff, the equipment managers, everything surrounding the team was really good. So that was, for a long time, was kind of the staple. You know, they'd flip their team around from, I mean, you remember the early 2000s, they were having blackouts in Chicago where they weren't even airing the hockey games in the local community and the local TV channels, to now where it is today. They're selling out that madhouse every single night, and also the games on TV. The fan base is huge. So Chicago was one of them for sure. LA it turned into a hot spot, you know, since Drew Doughty kind of came in there, and Kopitar, they flipped the organization around a little bit, got it back on track. So there's a couple spots that were, you know, really, if you went there, you're kind of expecting to win, and they had a really good chance of winning. So yeah, that's from my experience, for what I saw when I was playing the show.
Okay, cool. And we got another question from Made Hockey Co. Big picture things when going into your last pro season that you wish someone had told you.
That's a good question. That's a good question. That's a tough one to answer. I would say it's hard to give it a direct answer, but I'd say more prepared for the real world, and probably would have learned how to use email and how email works a couple of years before. As a player, you know, you're sheltered. Really, you know, it sounds kind of simple-minded and simple, maybe not as intelligent. It doesn't make a good picture, but as a hockey player, as a pro player, you really only are on your phone. You're texting your agent or calling your parents. You don't even realize, like, you know, again, the impact and power of email, how to use it, you know. I'm sure the college kids had a much different, you know, education on that side of life. But as an OHL guy, you really, you know, since the time you're 16 going to the O, you don't even use email. So coming out of it, I started doing things outside the hockey world and realizing I had a lot to learn. And I think seeing the world a little bit differently. When you're in the game and you're playing pro, you're so narrow-minded, and that's all that matters, because that's your resource and that's what you've lived for the last, you know, 20-something years. I think opening your eyes up a little bit and realizing that you can be more than just a hockey player, and, you know, kind of expand a little bit and not be so narrow-sighted, I think would be what I have, with the hindsight of 3 years going on 4 years retired now. I wish I would have had that going into my last year.
Sweet. Good answer. Cool. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up for our live here and the questions that we had from our Discord. So anything you want to sign off with, Rob?
No, I'm excited about this project. You know, sign up. We had, you know, some shooting lesson today with my brother, and I realized how deep we can go with this project. You know, I had a couple parents talking about when their kids are shooting at the house, and as parents, they don't really know how to teach them different things and show them techniques, and the stuff that my brother and I were doing were really helpful for them. So that's precisely why we have this project going, because this information can be every day. Your kid can load up that, you know, come on the Discord, see what we've uploaded, go and take what we put in there, insert it to their garage shooting, insert it to their on-ice shooting, and all this other great stuff, great details. We're going to try to be that support beam for the parents that want their, you know, help their kids. This is a good way you could do it. Get inside the community, let their kids run with the information that we're uploading, and develop with us, and yeah, have fun. So we're here to teach and show you the game and give you good information, and then you can just be parents and talk about other things in the car instead of trying to coach your kid.
Perfect. Sweet. Well, I would tell everybody who's been watching the live to check out Space Force Hockey. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. And if you reach out to us either through direct message or email, we're happy to help you figure out how to get started in this program. And there's plenty of amazing content on the Discord channel to check out.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Great. Thanks, Rob. Have a good one.
Everybody.